Hello, my name's Ian McCarthy. I'm from the School of Ocean Sciences at Bangor University, and I'd like to present some data that answers the questions when and where do Welsh sea bass spawn. This data comes from a number of EU-funded projects that we've run in Bangor over the last 10 years. And although I'm presenting today, this is very much a team effort, so many thanks to the various members of the fisheries team over the years for the help and support of Welsh Government fisheries, and also the help and support of the Welsh fishers themselves. Once bass reach adulthood, they go through this annual cycle of maturation where they regrow their gonads after spawning, reach the stage of maturity where they will release their gametes before being spent and undergoing the annual cycle again. And in bass, 7 maturity stages can be identified by eye. These are based on changes in the size, appearance and colour of the gonads. But during the spawning season, you're going to be catching bass that are stage 5 gravid ripe, that are about ready to spawn, stage 6 where the fish are running and they're releasing sperm and eggs, or a stage 7 and have just recently spawned when they're described as spent. The data that we've collected over the last 10 years has indicated that sea bass in Wales are spawning in March to May, although some stage 6 spawning fish can also be caught in June and July. These plots show you on the left for males in blue and in orange for females on the right, the proportion of male and female bass caught each month in each of the 7 maturity stages. And I don't have time to talk through these plots in detail, but I've highlighted the stage 6 running fish in red, and you can see that for both males and females, most of the red is occurring between March and May. So the main point to make here is that spawning is occurring in Wales outside the current closed season of February to March, extending into April and May, and sometimes as late as June. So moving on to the second question, where do Welsh sea bass spawn? Led by Harriet Lincoln, we published this data in a paper in Fisheries Research at the start of the year. What we did was to collect 2 to 5 centimetre O group bass recruits from 7 estuarine nursery areas in northwest England, North Wales and South Wales in 2014 and 2019. Age and spawning dates were determined from the daily growth rings in the right sagittal otolith. To calculate settlement dates in the nursery, we assumed an average pelagic larval duration of 57 days based on the work of Barrow et al. 2018, which was added to the birth date to calculate the settlement date, and then this settlement date was used as the particle release date for the larval dispersal model used to determine potential spawning locations. To account for the variability, we also included a range of pelagic larval durations and fish ages in the modelling. The models used were 3-dimensional hydrodynamic and Lagrangian particle tracking models run in reverse. Vertical particles representing bass larvae were released from the 7 nursery sites and transported backwards in time by simulated ocean currents for the duration of their assigned pelagic larval duration to identify likely spawning areas. The modelling factored in 2 larval behavioural strategies, again based on the work by Barrow et al. 2018. In all, 9 model runs were run per site per year, and the maps I'm going to show you show the outputs for the 9 runs combined. Okay, so the plots at the top here represent frequency distributions for the calculated spawning dates for O group bass caught in 2014 in blue and 2019 in orange for the 7 nursery sites, the Wyre in northwest England, the Dee, the Forrid and the Dwiryd in North Wales, and Milford Haven, the Locher and Swansea in South Wales. The table at the bottom contains a lot of information on dates, sample sizes and ages for each of the nursery areas, but the most important dates to look at are these highlighted in the red box. This gives you the average spawning date for the O group bass in each nursery, and these spawning dates, as you can see, are in April and May, with settlement estimated to occur in June and July. The results indicate that the timing of spawning vary between years, were most pronounced for the settlement sites in North Wales, and were most likely driven by water temperature, with spawning earlier in 2019 compared to 2014 due to warmer sea surface temperatures occurring earlier in the year in 2019. Okay, moving on to the maps. These maps show the larval dispersal predictions for each sample site for both years. The blue dot on each of these plots is the nursery area, and the heat map shows the distribution of potential spawning locations, with the darker the colour, the more likely the area. The maps represent the averages of the 9 model runs used to capture the uncertainty associated with pelagic larval duration and larval behaviour. The results indicate that spawning occurred close, within 200 kilometres of the nursery area, and in some cases occurred quite close inshore. The predicted spawning areas overlap for some sample sites, indicating that larvae from these locations have the potential to reach multiple nursery sites. Taking all the simulations together, these maps present the predicted potential spawning locations as heat maps for the northerly nursery sites in green and the southerly nursery sites in orange and red, with 2014 data on the left, 2019 in the middle, and both years combined on the right. Although, as you can see, the spawning areas can be quite widespread, regional separation was apparent, with little overlap between the spawning areas for northern versus southern sites, which appear to be separated by the Celtic Sea front. The model predicted quite inshore spawning close to all nursery areas. In the south, the main predicted spawning areas were offshore across the mouth of the Bristol Channel, extending outwards into the Celtic Deep in the northern Celtic Sea. In the north, spawning was predicted to occur in the central North Sea and along the coast of North Wales and northwest England in southern Liverpool Bay. So in summary, when do Welsh sea bass spawn? Well, it can vary from year to year, but generally between March and May. This is supported both by looking at gonad size and maturity stage and from the estimated spawn dates from the otolith daily growth rings. Where are the spawning sites that provide recruits to Welsh nursery areas? Well, spawning occurred within 200 kilometres of nursery site and could be quite close inshore. Modelling identified 2 broad spawning areas, the Central Irish Sea providing recruits to North Wales and North West England, and the Southern Irish Sea and Northern Celtic Sea providing recruits to South Wales nursery sites. Although I haven't had time to present this in this presentation, connectivity between spawning and settlement sites appears driven by sea surface temperature and wind and tide driven surface currents. Currently, the evidence shows that the current closed season does not protect spawning events that feed recruits into Welsh nursery sites. And in future, climate change is likely to result in regional shifts in spawning times and location, and so management strategies will need to account for this.